Hello, I'm Tanis Helliwell, and I'd love to talk to you about the time that we are going through in our world. There is an amazing poem that was written by Christopher Fry in 1951, which is 70 years ago now, and is called A Sleep of Prisoners. Will you please indulge me while I read it to you? A Sleep of Prisoners. The human heart can go to the links of God. Dark and cold we may be, but this is no winter now. The frozen misery of centuries breaks, cracks, begins to move. The thunder is the thunder of the flows, the thaw, the flood, the upstart spring. Thank God our time is now, when wrong comes up to face us till we take the longest stride of soul folk ever took. Affairs are now soul-size. The enterprise is exploration into God. Where are we making for? It takes so many thousand years to wake. But will you wake? For pity's sake. How touching, because that is capturing what's happening for us all right now. Every age of 2,000 years has a theme. And the Aryan age, it was karma, the law. Unfortunately, our judicial system is still at that place where people are sentenced because they've done something wrong according to the law. And the Taurian age was before the Aryan age. It had a cow as its sacred animal. The Aryan age had the sheep as a sacred animal. Then we went into the Piscean age, the Christian age, if you like, but it's also the Buddha age because Buddha was 500 years before Christ. And what was the symbol of the Piscean age? It was the fish, obviously, because Jesus took all the fishermen and recruited them. And so that's every 2,000 years we have these ages, and everyone has a theme. And in our Piscean age, we had the theme of love, which replaced the theme of law, at least on paper. And so the highest commandment was always, do unto others as you would do unto yourself. And so for 2,000 years, people around the world have been trying to practice it because these are thought forms, gigantic thought forms that are created by great beings who are overseeing our evolution. And so there are avatars that come down. Moses was the avatar, or at least one of the avatars of the Aryan age. We had Buddha and Christ in the Jesus the Christ, of course, because Buddha was a Christ as well. Christ is a title given to people who've gone through a series of very high initiations. And so we had that for the Piscean age. And now we're entering the Aquarian age. And we have to look at what is the law? What is spiritual law that we're supposed to learn how to follow during these 2,000 years? And we're just at the very beginning of it. So first of all, the other laws don't go away. They create foundations that we as humanity, you and I, need to learn. We need to learn, we need to allow those to transform us so that we feel it mentally, emotionally, physically. We get it. We know it. So now we have to know the Piscean age law, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Not just in theory, but in practice, because we need to know that in all the cells of our body before we can actually embrace the Aquarian age and what we're supposed to be learning during this time. And so this is a wonderful time in human history where we can see that the old problems that we've had, let's call it that, are being confronted. We are at a time when there are very few secrets. Ultimately, all secrets will be revealed. Everything will become transparent. And people can't say one thing and do another. We have to be congruent. So it is a time when hypocrisy will end. This is scary in one way, because all of us have facades. We like to give people or show people our best, and yet we may be doing other things in secret, but we don't want people to know about those. And that will no longer be the case. Why? Because in the Aquarian age, where we are going next, we're going up to a higher frequency. Every law, every age has a higher frequency. So we're going to a higher frequency. And we're going to the frequencies of clairvoyance, clairaudience, and clairsentience. So in this way, there can be no secrets because we will see people as they are. We will hear the real underlying messages, not just the words. We'll know if it's not striking the right note. And we'll feel if people are out of balance, if they don't have our interests at heart. So, what a wonderful time. And we are all alive at this time. We are pioneers who've been brought to this time at the beginning of the Aquarian age. And it's a bridge time. We're the bridge between the Piscean and the Aquarian. So we may have a foot still in the Piscean age, learning to love others as we love ourselves. And really, I'd like to point out that not everybody does love themselves, but we've got to do that too. So we may be a bridge, one foot in either camp. But that bridge is getting longer. It's getting longer. That space is getting longer. And that's why, as Christopher Fry speaks about the thunder of the thunder of the flows, the thaw, the flood, the upstart spring. So we can see the old is breaking up. Our old organizations, the structures that have created stability during the Piscean age, they are now breaking up. Organizations either need to transform or they will end. And to transform, we all need to move to transparency. So that means that we need to become our authentic selves. What a wonderful time that is, to become our authentic selves and to know that that is exactly what is needed. That's what the Aquarian age is all about. And so I'm grateful, aren't you? Grateful to be alive at this time. It does take courage. It does take persistence. It takes forgiveness. It takes patience, resilience. Need we go through the list of virtues that we need to acquire? Grace. However, you know what we don't need? We don't need to be perfect. Isn't that good? No, you and I, we don't have to be perfect. We just need to have what Buddha said, right motivation for our actions. Because we're going into a new age with new laws, with new qualities that we're going to need to learn about, to do, to be, because we're going there. It's new. Of course, we're not going to be perfect. So in that, we forgive ourselves, we forgive others, and we continue to see the high road. We continue to see our soul shining, other soul shining, beckoning us, beckoning them. We are being given wonderful opportunities in the world right now, and we're absolutely perfect for them. We're the right age, the right gender, the right color. Our qualities are perfect, both physically, emotionally, and mentally. So why not be our authentic selves? Even our inadequacies are perfect. So I'd like to speak to you of something that I've been working with for a long time now. For 20 years, I've been working to develop a technique to help us clear our old thought forms. The thought forms that we have accumulated not only in this life, but in other lives that have been handed down not only from our parents, but our ancestors that go back in time. And a lot of these thought forms still cling to us. We haven't transformed them. We haven't transmuted them to the light. So we spoke about the Taurian age, the Aryan age, and the Piscean age, and how we're going now to the Aquarian age, and how we have absorbed all the knowledge from those ages. That's a good story. However, we have still carried with us a lot of these old shoulds, which no longer are applicable as we're entering this new age. And these shoulds can be spiritual shoulds, such as you've got to be a Christian or you're not going to go to heaven, whatever heaven is. or you have to be some other religion, or you're not going to see dancing girls. Whatever it is, there are these old spiritual traditions that we've lived through. This is not our first time around, folks. So we've lived through these, so they're still hanging on us. What are about the old mental thoughts that we have come through? We mentioned some of those before, some of the laws. That, I mean, it used to be that we'd be beheaded, we'd have our eyes put out, we'd have fingers and hands cut off if we did anything wrong. We'd be hung. And that is in my lifetime. And that isn't still in some places in the world. That is a remnant from the Aryan age. And then remnants from the Piscean age, which we're exiting right now. It's very patriarchal, wouldn't you agree? I love men. I think I was blushing when I said that. But I do love men. And I love women. And I love dogs and cats and horses and plants. And we have to, in this new age, love all equally. And also treat all equally. Of course, we're all different. We've all got different qualities. However, our gifts, our talents, are what need to be promoted, not our gender. And so that is a remnant which we need to get rid of from the Piscean age. And the Piscean age also had a lot of qualities we don't want, such as greed. Greed. Yes, more, scarcity, scarcity, scarcity. Now that is not only in the Piscean age that we have had that. That's actually been for the last thousands of years, starting with when people were hungry and starving and had no shelters. And of course they wanted what they could get for themselves, or they didn't survive to pass that on, to pass it on to their children, which they still wanted to do. But it was all around survival of the fittest. So we've carried that physically into our present time when very few of us are starving, at least in the Western world, but we have greed for possessions. Greed for the best house, the best clothes, the best job. And we don't always want to share these with others. Even when we live in such abundance, such incredible abundance, we can still have scarcity in other ways and think, I may have money, but I can't go anywhere and spend it because we're having a health crisis. Or I might have money, but I don't have good health. So we have scarcity of health. Or you may think, I have scarcity of opportunities. Everybody gets better jobs than me, even though I'm so talented. I don't get recognized enough. There's a scarcity of love. So this is the old thought form that we have to get rid of, this scarcity one. We have to let that one go and live in abundance. And so these are some of the things that we're going to be doing, that I've been doing and teaching for 2 decades now. I was doing it before the 2 decades, but I started teaching it 2 decades ago, how to transform our old thought forms. And let me show you a picture. This is shocking, so get ready. This is how a lot of us look. We have these old thought forms glomming onto us, sticking to us, that we have to transmute. And I'm going to show you the good picture. When we do it, this is the new picture. That is how clear we will be, clear and pristine, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And I've developed a technique which I've used for a long time, but we've been teaching it now at our International Institute for Transformation for 20 years, called the etheric clearing technique. And it's to clean all these old thought forms using energy and using the body elemental, the body spirit, and working with that to do it. And I've worked with psychiatrists, doctors, other medical practitioners, the general public around the world to teach how to do this, because this is how we spiritually transform. And we need to do this, folks, for this new Aquarian age. We can't have these old thought forms glomming onto us anymore, because they are like weeds that are there. And even if we're doing affirmations and we're praying and we're meditating, all this helps. But we need to have our energy strong enough that we are able to literally transmute. We need to become alchemists to transmute these old energies to the light, so they'll be requalified so we can use them for this wonderful time that we're in, this time of grace, this time of blessing. So I hope you're going to be able to join me on this journey. We're going to be doing one of these Transform Yourself courses, which are going to help with getting rid of all these old thought forms in January. The middle of January, I think it's January the 21st. And hopefully you'll want to join. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be actually going into retreat this next week for myself to get ready to do my own transformation, to get ready for hosting this course in January. And I'm so grateful that a lot of people who've been working with me for many years now, and have done this course are going to be helping me with the community calls to help as well. So I hope to see you very, very soon. Blessings.